In this video, I'll be doing a comparison of the artwork Venus of Urbino to the artwork Olympia, and I will briefly go over the art style of Vietnam High Resonance art style. First, I will go over what Vietnam High Resonance art style was, and then I will talk briefly about what realism art style was. Vietnam High Resonance art style has also deep, rich colors, great usage of light. All the paintings at that time were made of oil paint, which further made the painting pop out, seem like it had texture and depth. They also have visible brushstrokes, linear perspective, and tracasso. According to Smart History in the website article they wrote, Vietnam painters pursued innovative compositional approaches like asymmetry, and they introduced new subjects such as landscapes and female nude. The increasing use of pliable canvases over solid wood panels encouraged looser brushstrokes. Painters also experimented more with the textual differences produced by thick versus thin application of paint. According to Nicholas in his book Resonance Art and Vince, From Tradition to Individualism, from the early 16th century onwards, however, Resonance Art and Vince quickly came to share certain more progressive characteristics with other leading cultural centuries in Italy, techniques in the direction of individual expression, and explored more intimate aspects of personal life. It sometimes possessed a newly monumental order and harmony. In its approach to sacred, historical, or mythological subject matter, it actively addressed the subjectivity of the viewer in an intellectual, psychological, or sensual manner. Now moving on to realism art style. According to Google Arts Culture in the website article, realism art style was, as they wrote, realism art is a movement that began in France around the 1850s. This type of art depicts a subject/topic as realistic as possible without any extra exaggerations. Realists depict already existing things the way they are or can be in reality. Okay, so now that you know what was the Vietnam High Resonance and Realism art style was, I'm going to talk about our main subject, the artwork Venus of Urbino by Titan in 1538. As you could see, this beautiful painting done by Titan depicts a nude woman staring at the viewer with a seductive directness and coyness while she is holding some flowers and laying on a ruffled sheet. She sinks into her plush pillow, couch's smooth slope, and with her left hand and pelvis draws the viewer's attention, while the harsh vertical border of the curtain behind her separates the foreground from the background. Her softly rounded figure is in contrast to those curtains, and next to her feet is a sleeping toy spaniel dog. Two attendants lean over a chest in the right background close to the window that opens onto a landscape, seemingly looking for clothes to cover their reclining nude mistress. A smaller view opens up onto a landscape behind them, and there's a pot of myrtle on the window's ledge on the right side of the background. Now I'm gonna go over the artwork Olympia by Manent. As you could see, it depicts a woman laying down with her left hand covering her private area. There's a maid right next to her feet holding a bunch of roses that are wrapped around a piece of cloth. On the left hand of the lady laying down, she's clutching a piece of cloth, almost a cloth that resembles a blanket, and right at the edge of the bed there's a black cat. In the background there's curtains and a brown wall, and the sheets and the pillow that the lying down lady has right under her are ruffled up. So this artwork was done in 1863 by Manet. As you could see, this artwork Olympia was heavily inspired by Titan's artwork Venus of Urbino. So now I will compare this artwork Olympia to Titan's artwork Venus of Urbino. As you could see, Olympia is different by it has a flatter, more simplified style with both brushstrokes present, compared to the more detailed and naturalistic style of Venus of Urbino. Instead of a dog being present, there's a black cat. There is one maid present. The maid is a colored maid, compared to in Venus of Urbino, there's two maids present that we can't see their face at all, but they're shown as to be white. This maid present in the Olympia artwork, the maid is holding a bunch of flowers, while again compared to the Venus of Urbino, the maids that were present were not holding flowers. They were actually looking for clothes for the nude woman to get dressed on. And the nude woman in Venus of Urbino was holding only a bunch of flowers of one type. Going back to Olympia, the nude woman is shown holding a blanket with one hand, and the position that the nude woman is shown to be in a stiff, uncomfortable position. Again, compared to Venus of Urbino, the nude woman there was holding only a bunch of flowers, not the bed sheets. And the nude woman in Venus of Urbino, she looks to be in a comfortable position of stiff and coining. She looks to be in a relaxed position compared to Olympia that seems to be in a stiff position. According to Smart History, in the website article they wrote, in place of the seamlessly contoured voluptuous figure of Venus, set within a richly anthropomorphic and imaginary world, Olympia was flatly painted, poorly contoured, lacked depth, and seemed to inhabit the seemingly contemporary world of prostitution. According to Hale in her book Titan, His Life, she wrote, "Scholars are divided by whether or not it represents something more than a pretty naked girl lying on the bed. Some insist that she must be Venus, whose principal attribute is her nudity, and who is further identified by the red roses she clutches in her left hand and the pot of myrtle on the windsill." According to Rostand in his journal article So and So Reclining on Her Couch, he wrote, "Was seen as a marriage picture, the goddess of love, characterized by her surrounding attributes as the protectiveness in particular of material love. These floral symbols traditionally associated with Venus combine to define the very special kind of love she in here represents. The fruitful passion of illicit love, not the quickly sated and sinful lust of the body, but the permanent bond of conjugal affection. The little dog curled up on her feet in a contented slumber overly signifies the idea of material fidelity, its trusting nature." According to Hale in her book Titan, His Life, she wrote, "Little and slender woman, lying as nature shaped her with her legs entwined, represented any more or less than youth and beauty, not transfigured into infinable nobleness, but concussionless and triumphant without loss of modesty." Edward Manet evidently had no illusions about her status as a Goldilocks when he paid homage to her. Thanks to this quote, in other words, it's saying that the artist Manet, when he was making the artwork Olympia, he was truly basing it off as a normal Parisian prostitute at that time. So that's why he drew her that way, with that position, that stiffness, with those types of flowers. Thanks to the many hidden forms of symbolism present in this artwork, I believe that it was used to tell the obligations of a woman had to do when they got married and had a husband. It functioned symbolically for the culture that it was produced in by an allegory of martial law, which was very important to Vietnam people at that time, since Vietnam engagement ceremonies were the number one important thing. This painting tells us that since this was a gift from Titan to Duke Guillaume to Giulia da Verano, this painting was also used to tell Giulia da Verano how she must be and act in a marriage with her husband. In my opinion, the Venus of Urbino is the best painting to exist, since it had many forms of symbolism, a great art style present, great usage of light, had hidden meaning present in it, and overall, because it looks very beautiful, I really do believe that Venus of Urbino was the best painting of this time compared to Olympia, that was based on Parisian prostitutes, that had no hidden meaning behind it other than Manet doing this painting to represent Parisian prostitutes.